What's up, everybody? It's your boy Kaz. We're back in the building. Back with my host, Yaya, the one that said, "We outside," because we outside. I really just want to come on here and do, like I said, the podcast. Really just want to come on here with her and go over, a few things that, I've recently talked about in my past video about, being positive, having the negative moments, and, having the momentum to keep going. Really just wanted to ask you that first question. So being positive, what's maybe one way that you have coped to get to that point of being positive? When you're going through those hard times, what's something that maybe to keep you positive? How do you be positive?
I say surround yourself with good people. If you're surrounded by positivity, that helps you get to that point. And just doing things you love. If there's something that you haven't done in a while but you miss, go for it. Get back into it.
Gotcha. Yeah. So like I've talked about on here, being positive for me, I think being positive, a way that I do that is just knowing that things they're not forever. Another way being positive is, like I've said it on here many times, is having the mindset of I can't do it, but and so ways I've been able to be positive myself is really just knowing that I can do anything, to take each day by itself, not thinking about tomorrow or what's ahead, and really just talking about that on here, like talked about having the momentum, and Yaya here doesn't know what that means. So basically it's about I see it in a way of like I looked at it as in football, and basically having when you have one good play and that play keeps on going, and then after that you have another good play. So it's basically, if you were to put that in, I guess a like perspective, I would say it's basically when one thing happens, more things keep happening, like more positive things keep happening. Like I used an example on here that I heard recently was, it's like if you were to stay at home because nothing's going your way, or things are completely negative, it's kind of like basically going out and keeping that, I guess, that strategy to keep doing things, right? Because if you lose that strategy, which is basically, again, called momentum, it's basically you lose that, then you lose that strategy to keep going. And maybe one way that maybe something came in your way and you just had to keep that going, though, without that, with that being in the way, how does one way just to keep going? Maybe it could be something, maybe it could be anything.
I would say that money wise, I know that that's just a problem in general in this world, but there's times where I do have nothing, and just knowing that I could get more hours at work, and just for me, that's where momentum comes in, is choosing to pick up more hours, choosing to actually put in the hard work. That's the good momentum, and if I just keep going with it, then I know that the hardship is going to be over eventually, and it's just that motivation that has to keep you going.
Gotcha. Yeah. So definitely one way that, again, I used it as in a football mindset, but I talked about it on here, in the video that I posted recently, and it's the same thing as what she's saying about having that job and stuff, and I kind of used it differently, right? There was one point in my life where I was it was back when I was younger, back in maybe 2021, where I was do I really need a job? And at the time I was doing freelance photography and stuff like that, and I really thought that was my job. And don't get me wrong, I was doing very well. It was my content that I was making at the time was definitely getting sold, and it was being bought, but it's just there wasn't always something happening. So to know that there wasn't always something happening, obviously you have to make an adjustment to that, and that's basically, again, what we call a real job in this world. And so I guess getting a real job and making the money, there's that that time where like you just gotta keep going, and that was one moment where I knew I had to keep going. Where it's like this freelance photography is not gonna get me anywhere. I need to be better in my life, and that's where I took the step to get a job and actually make the money that I'm well deserved and stuff like that. So I would say that really just like I said recently, just coming into this new year, there's different things that for myself that I need to change and to keep going. And that's one thing about my podcast is, me and you guys have seen it where, I do so much content and I know where I disappear and I come back, but it's kind of realizing like I need to just keep going. I take whatever I got, coming here, to where I'm at now, to be able to go outside and do something and be confident with the people in public was something that I also took in consideration of just got to keep going. Like what you got to take what you got to take, and it's gonna get somewhere, and if it doesn't, it doesn't. But that doesn't mean you got to stop right there and then. You just got to keep going. Here, me and Yaya were talking about the other day about basically when is the right time to basically ask for that help, right? When you're going through something, a lot of us, kind of like fade away, and we don't get that help, and then things get worse than what it is. So my question would be, when's the right time to ask someone for help, or when is it the right time to get help when you're going through something extremely hard?
I would say the sooner the better. Asking for help doesn't make you weak, and that's a common mindset that a lot of people have. But in reality, it makes you a stronger person because you get to work on yourself, and by asking for help, you're bettering yourself. Not only the bad things, but things that are already good. You're improving, and yeah, some people might say there's not a right time, but for me personally, I would say the earlier the better. You want to get to the root of the problem before, I guess you could say, more things pile on, because then it gets harder to ask for the help, or you start feeling like a burden, which we're trying to avoid that. So I would say the sooner the better.
Yeah, that's what she said, is definitely true. Getting down to basically what the problem is, right? Because not all the time you're going to know what's wrong. You're going to go through stressful moments and stuff, and it could be multiple things all at once, and you have no clue what out of all that is causing you to maybe be stressful, or to not be yourself. So it's definitely true to get down to that, the root where to figure out that problem, because again, you may know what the problem is, but then there's people that don't know what that problem is, and some people want to know what that is. And so what you said, it's definitely important to get down to the root as soon as possible. I could definitely relate to that. She knows that for sure, that I'm definitely a person that basically I went through very hard moments in my life, and there was times where I was like, I don't need the help, or I don't want to get that help. And that could be because maybe you're afraid too, or as I always said, I'm a guy, so maybe I don't want to show my emotions. But I could definitely say that coming here and having Yaya, even before I came here, when I was back in California, still she was right there, and she was always telling me, hey, it's okay, you're a guy, but that doesn't mean you don't have emotions. It's okay to be yourself, and it's okay to talk to people. And so I think taking that and having someone, so basically having her to guide me in the right direction, to, hey, like, it's okay to express your emotions, you're a guy, but that doesn't make you any different between me or anyone else in this entire world. So especially in emotions is definitely important. So that's one thing to take in consideration, is to know when you're reaching out for the help, just be yourself. If that's that's upset, if you have to cry, you're gonna cry, because it's 100% okay to cry. But I understand it's definitely not something that everyone wants to do, right? There's times where she doesn't want to cry in front of me, and there's times where I don't want to cry in front of her. But there's those times where you just can't hold that back, and then you end up crying. But that person's right there to support you. So it's definitely true what she says. It's definitely important to always get that help, because there's a lot of things in this world that really affect all of us. Here, Yaya's been through a lot. I've been through tough moments, and she definitely knows that, and I'm definitely aware where she's been. But to have each other is a very important thing. So I think coming here and not just to come here and having a new environment of what I'm doing, but to come here and have that that physical support. Because that's another thing, right? It could be definitely hard over the calls or through text to get that help, right? Because you're not there with the person. So when you're not there with the person, basically what they're saying probably doesn't really mean anything to you. So it's important to maybe get it out and maybe go to a park or something and just sit down with someone. So that's what I do here with Yaya, is to come out and just talk and be able to be myself. It's something, again, 2024 I'm learning to do, is to be myself. It's okay to have emotions, and so it's definitely true what she says. Very important.
Say surround yourself with people who truly care about you, because if you don't, it's going to be more damaging than healing. And also know that healing is a journey. It's not going to be instant. That's something a lot of us probably want. It's just that instant gratification or that instant happiness. But it takes time to get to that spot, which is not a bad thing. You get to learn a lot about yourself, and you get to learn about your connections with other people. I have definitely gotten to learn a lot about Marcus.
Yeah, definitely.
And just being there for each other. Like he said, there's times where we just want to be alone, but at the end of the day, we'll check in with each other and be like, hey, are you okay? Because it's understandable. Sometimes it's overstimulating being around other people when you have so much emotions built up. So just having someone that could check in with you, or you checking in on other people, is really going to be helpful.
Yeah, definitely. Let's see. And you mentioned something about healing. It's definitely something else I want to talk about. So basically, going through that. So you say healing. Maybe what are ways that basically you're able to basically understand what healing is? How do you understand how to heal? What's some ways you may be healed in a way?
I personally deal with depression and anxiety, so there's a lot of trauma with it. I'm honestly still in my healing journey. Like I said, there's no timeline. It's not easy peasy. It is going to be hard, and sometimes it's going to feel like it's challenging, but once you are able to release either some of the harsh emotions like sadness or anger, or just being able to release some of the trauma, it's very I guess you could say peaceful, because it's so much emotions that are just building up. And I'm 21, so imagine 21 years of built up anger and sadness and just confusion. It takes a toll on you, and it can be different for other people. There could be people that are, I don't know, in their 30s or 40s, or even teenagers that may understand how I'm feeling. The amount of time that you have trauma is not something to brag about, but what I'm trying to say is that we understand you, and to just be, I guess, graceful with yourself. Give yourself grace, give yourself time, get back into the things you love. I used to love doing yoga, love singing in the car. He knows this. I love singing in the car, and they can tell if something is wrong because I'll just be quiet in the car, and just having a good support system that know when something is wrong.
Yeah.
He definitely knows when something is wrong.
Absolutely.
Just having that support system is gonna help your healing journey.
Yeah, absolutely. So another question I maybe could ask is, maybe right now you're you sit here and you're thinking about it. Do you think there's things that maybe you've got better at through that that healing journey? Is there things that you thought maybe you think that you've been better at now than there was before, maybe a year ago?
I would definitely say my support system. I definitely have friends, but it wasn't like friends that I could like call up real quick and be like, hey, like I'm not doing okay, or hey, like I just need someone to talk to, and have someone that is actually gonna understand. I understand there's people that are like, I could just listen, but I might not be able to help you. But in those moments, you need someone to understand you, even if it's just very slightly. It's very helpful if someone knows what you're going through, or someone has a similar background to you. So I would say surround yourself with good people. I definitely have my fair share of bad habits, so I would say look into good habits. And if you notice that your friends or just like the people you're hanging around with are encouraging you to do bad habits, it might be hard to let those people go, but overall it's going to help you in your healing journey, because it's harder to get out of a bad habit than getting into a good habit. And I can say that from experience.
Yeah, absolutely. So yeah, definitely having all those those moments of being where you before maybe a year ago till now, and understanding like basically there's that that support system maybe a year ago that maybe you didn't think there was, but there is. People that do care about you. There's people that definitely love you. I've said it on here before. It's not always going to be shown, because not a lot of people know how to show that they care for you, or not a lot of people know how to help out. There's definitely things that she definitely doesn't know how to help me with, but she's gonna do the best she can to be there and support me, and it helps in a way to just know that there's someone there to talk to. So it's a very important thing to always reach out, and definitely to know when to reach out, which again is definitely as soon as possible, so that if you don't know the problem that you're having, maybe other people can help you out. Definitely want to mention that when we talk about when is the right time to reach out for help, that doesn't mean you have to go straight to counseling. That could just be with a friend. Maybe try a friend first, because it's not always comfortable to go and get counseling, because that's someone completely strange. So it's definitely important to know that it doesn't have to be with someone that you don't know. It could be definitely with someone that you know, but just know if it gets worse than that, then definitely look out for more options outside of that. Definitely a great time with Yaya to sit down and have this amazing talk. I hope you guys enjoy this video. Again, my name is Kaz. This is Yaya. If you're not yet, make sure to subscribe to my YouTube channel. Follow me on Instagram. And until next time, I'll catch you guys there.